Pilots have been reporting unidentified aerial phenomena since the 1920s. They're usually sightings that can't be explained away with science. And here to help is retired NASA scientist Dr. Richard Haines. He's currently the chief scientist for an organization called NARCAP. Welcome, and I understand you'd rather be called Dick?
Yes, please.
All right.
Sure.
So you work with NARCAP. What does that stand for?
NARCAP stands for the Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena.
Anomalous phenomena.
We're a 501c3 nonprofit public benefit corporation.
All right. And what are your primary goals?
Well, first of all, to make flying safer.
Okay.
With specific regard to aviation events that are underreported and which are misunderstood or poorly understood.
And you're talking about things that either can or cannot be explained one way or another.
That's right.
And
exactly.
But they're not necessarily called UFOs anymore. That's politically incorrect to say that. You now call them UAPs.
We call them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, plural, and it allows us to look at a very wide range of effects.
A UAP.
A UAP.
So we're not talking about little green men necessarily.
Not anymore. No. We have no objective reason to think that they are.
Okay.
It might be a physics effect in the atmosphere. So we're just trying to take an objective look at the data and understand what it is, and then pass that information on to the government authorities so that they can take effective action.
Fair enough. Now, I understand you've brought with you a couple of pictures of UAPs in action, so to speak.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, you're afraid so? Well, for instance, what do we see here scientifically?
Well, this is an interesting series of 12 photographs taken back in May of 1971 in the Austrian Alps, actually. About noon, and the object, whatever it is metallic in appearance. It is not round, as many of these objects seem to be, but it's more triangular. And it was flitting about the sky at high speed. There were many eyewitnesses to this event.
I think I saw that Brady Bunch episode, too. How often are these things... Sorry. How often are these reported, these UAPs?
If you're talking about pilots and air traffic controllers, about 2 to 3 per year, which I must say is a higher incident rating than wind shear is reported.
Did they report them to you or directly to the FAA?
We wish they did. NARCAP is a new organization, and we're still getting established across the country. So the FAA is the official reporting location for pilots, but there is so much ridicule and there's so much fear surrounding this subject that they're not reporting them when they should.
Fear of probes?
Fear of a lot of paperwork, a fear of ridicule by their colleagues.
I understand ridicule very well. Sure. So when pilots see these UAPs, what generally is going on, or what do they see?
Good question. Chris, they are seeing during the daytime generally metallic objects of different shapes. Very seldom are they plasmas or vapors, something non-solid. During the nighttime, they're almost always self-luminous.
Now, this obviously is during the daytime here. This is a real photo?
It sure is.
What is that?
Well, I wish we knew, but the pilot told me, and several other witnesses told me, that what they saw passing in front of this sailplane we see back in July 16th of 1988, just over Hemet Airport in Southern California. It's west of Palm Springs. They all said they saw a sphere that was polished like a ball bearing, smooth, reflecting sunlight. But what we see in the photograph is something very different from that, with a trail behind it and white, reflecting sunlight. We don't know what it is, but we feel that there could be a real influence on the avionic systems, the electromagnetic effects on aircraft. From a phenomenon like
this. I think that's probably the scariest part. It's whether or not they're from another world. It's our safety that's in question.
Well, we should take it very seriously, and that's what we're trying to do: is work with government officials to raise the awareness so that pilots will be encouraged to report these things.
Now, do you guys have a stance on whether or not these things are extraterrestrial?
No. We have no evidence yet to point in that direction, so we're keeping the door open to anything.
So you haven't been visited by the men in the suits with the...
I haven't.
No. But you wear a suit.
Yeah, I sure do.
That's a good thing. Now, what do you think these pilots are seeing? We always joke around about, like, weather balloons or just interesting phenomena. What do you think it is on a whole?
Well, First of all, it's unidentified, which means science hasn't had a chance to really bite into it to understand. But people keep asking me that question, do I think it's ET? And I must be very honest with you. The evidence seems to be pointing in that direction.
Really?
Yes. The intelligence factor, the dynamic control factor, these things can outfly airplanes. There's no doubt about that.
What does NARCAP hope to be able to accomplish in the future in pursuing these goals?
Our second objective besides aviation safety is to collect valid, reliable scientific information that we take to the science community to get them interested so that they can put all that muscle behind the analyses.
All right, fair enough. You've written a handful of books on this subject. You've been around for a while looking at this stuff. Good stuff. Almost kind of scary at the same time, but for our safety. So, Dick, thank you so much for keeping an eye on the sky.
It's my pleasure, Chris.
And
Thank
every
you.
time I fly, I'll remember this. I'll just be watching for, there's something on the wing. Very fascinating topic. And, of course, you can visit narcap.org to read more about the organization and aerial phenomena. As always, our website outlines what we've discussed today. That's at techtv.com/call for help.